let's begin our practice. It's going to be real cold these next few days. So as it gets cold, I feel like everything comes here. So let's start our practice in a heart opener. So you might take a block or two or like a pillow, and if you want, you don't need to take the bolster at an incline. You could just take the bolster and recline onto it. I like a little bit of an incline. So the more the top edge of the bolster is off the mat, kind of the more space you have for the arms and the shoulders to drop back. I like to take the blanket or a blanket across the midsection, kind of like a little added weight. I also like to take my palms up, and arms could, if you're really tense through the chest here, you'd slide your arms a little bit closer to the bottom of the mat or towards the bottom of the mat. Or if you feel comfortable, slide them up almost like snow angel arms and settling in here. Good. I forgot, I made you guys little cotton rounds. So just going to bring this around. I'll set it in your left hand. You might place it on your chest. It's a blend of lavender and bergamot. We'll just put it in your left hand here. You can put it on your chest or maybe on top of your mask. This is one of my favorite blends. This is the blend for the warm towels tonight as well. Feel free if you want to take a little mask lift and a little sniff. So just settling in here. Already taking the time to notice a little bit of space in the heart, across the front body. Let's take a breath in here together and a breath out. Let go. I'll be reading some shorter readings tonight from Morgan Harper Nichols' book. She's one of my favorite poets. It's called All Along You Were Blooming. So she has the book split into 4 parts: for the heart, for the mind, for the body, and for the soul. So I'll be reading from that tonight. As you settle into your first posture here, she shares, leave room for beautiful interruption, light, unexpected, arriving in the middle of the night. Perhaps here in the darkness, you will start to see the reality of the walls you have built around yourself and how they might have kept you from living. For when you are broken, it might seem like the only thing there is to do is to head out in search of the love of another. But what if, instead of looking elsewhere, you looked right here at the walls? For the walls you built to protect yourself gave you a narrow view of the world. So maybe now is the time to allow light's interruption pouring in through the cracks, reminding you of meaningful life on the other side. And when these walls come down, you will see a beautiful world around you, inviting you to step into a daily chance to live beyond the barriers of who you were. Let's take a breath in here. And a breath out. One more inhale. And stay for your exhale. So we'll slowly start to move the hands. We'll take left hand over the heart space and right hand to the low belly. And you can leave your legs long here for the next few breaths. What we'll do is really focus the breath down to the right hand. So as you inhale, you feel the heart and the belly rise. And as you exhale, soften. Breathe in and breathe out. One more breath here. And fully exhale. Good. Take a bend into your knees, and we'll take the hands down at the sides of our mat and just windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Feel this nice little massage on the seat. One more to each side. And then it doesn't matter which side, we'll roll off to one side and use the strength of your arms to make your way up to a seat and then over to your tabletop. Yeah, with my sweatshirt, are you still able to hear me okay? Yeah, good, okay. Just move in ways that feel good for you here. You can kind of move your props out of the way. If you need a little bit of added padding underneath the knees or underneath the wrists, feel free to move your blanket in. There's no wrong way to move in these first movements of class. Letting your breath be your guide. So don't forget to keep breathing here. Oopsies, I just realized I've got 3 candles on, 3 candles off. I'll turn Heather, sorry. I think I got sidetracked when I was setting up for class. Without much light, but then at least it's symmetrical from one side to the other. We'll come to find down dog here. So spread the hands nice and wide. Hips come high. Head is really heavy here. So let the weight roll off the head. And just shake it out. Yes and no. Notice any tension that lies in the neck. Try to let it go here. We'll walk our feet towards our hands here and take a standing forward fold. Take a little bit of movement. Maybe reaching for opposite elbow, swaying side to side. Let this feel really good on the hamstrings, low back. Notice if you're, again, holding tension in the head, let it go. Gaze kind of back towards the back of our space. Good. If you have a grip on the elbows, release. We'll walk the fingertips all the way over towards the right side. So the right hand comes towards the back of the right foot, left hand towards the right toes. Good. And we'll take that off to the other side. Fingertips travel through center. And just notice this kind of side body opening in the low back, continued opening in the hamstrings. We'll come back through center. Take the hands to the shins here. Push into the shins. We find a halfway lift. Really working to lengthen the crown of the head in the opposite direction of the tailbone. And we'll come back down to forward fold here. Good, one more halfway lift. And here, let's plant the hands. I'm gonna move on to my mat here. Step the left foot all the way back and drop your left knee down to the mat. Perhaps a blanket underneath the knee if you've got tender kneecap or anything. And you might choose to bring the blocks to the inside of the right foot or even framing the right foot as well. We're going to just take a little bit of movement here. Inhale, we'll straighten into the front leg. And exhale, rebend back into our lunge. Good. Take that a few times with your breath. Inhale to lengthen into the calf and the hamstring. Exhale. Nice job. Good. Next time your hips are back, stay there. We'll just take a little bit of rotation of the femur head into the thigh by sort of taking this waving motion of the foot side to side. Back and forth. It's off to the right, the hip is externally rotated and the internal off to the left. Good. Next time the toes are to the sky, stay there and we'll rebend back into the right knee. Heel toe the right foot all the way towards the outside corner of the mat and then bring both hands to the inside. Good. And you might choose to stay here or you might come down onto forearms for a lizard lunge. You can keep your right foot on the mat or you might drop your right knee open, coming onto the outside edge of the foot if that feels good. Nice. We have all these different levels for blocks to low level, medium, high. Good. Letting some of this tension go in the hips. Let's take one more breath here. And full breath out. Good. If you came down onto forearms, we'll start to straighten into the arms to lift the torso here. And I'll give you a choice. You can either come back to tabletop or you might tuck your back toes to make some space and come back to down dog. So you choose here, where does your body want to go? Maybe you come to tabletop and think down dog might feel good. Wherever, well, it looks like you all chose down dog. Nice, let's take a full breath in here together. And a full breath out. Let's take your gaze towards our hands. Step your feet to the top of the mat here. We'll find a halfway lift. Forward fold. Gonna take it nice and slow here to rise. So hands to shins, hands to thighs. Slowly lifting the torso here. Good. And we'll reach the arms up overhead and bring your hands to your heart. Good. We're going to take a real slow sun salutation before we take that sequence off to the other side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Nice and slow through our forward fold. Breath guides movement. Inhaling for a halfway lift. As you exhale here, choice to step back to high plank or maybe straight back to down dog. If a back bend sounds good for you, you might choose to drop down to your knees, lowering all the way down for your cobra. And we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. Let's take a full breath in here. Open mouth, let it go. Good, drop down to the knees. And we'll move our blocks towards the left or towards the right side of the mat, pardon me, and then help the left foot up. And you can move through this, inhaling here and shifting back. Each side's a little bit different. Let your body give you cues about what it is craving on this Monday evening. Next time the hips are back, stay there. And you might scoot your left leg more towards the center of your mat, flex the toes up towards the sky, and then take the rotation left and right here. Maybe pointing the toes, flexing the foot feels good. And then we'll start to rebend, heel toe the foot out, make some space, and we'll settle into our lizard lunge. Again, you've got all of these different levels of blocks and support. Side's a little different. Good. As you settle into this, I'll come to our next reading. When you start to feel the pull of the past and you are trying to calm unyielding storms on your own, remember the best you can do while knowing and trusting it is not all up to you. For it is okay, more than okay, to cast down your burdens and choose to believe in healing. We'll take about another breath or two here. Down onto forearms, start to lift your way up. You might move your blocks out of the way. You've got an option to come back to tabletop or tuck your back toes, your right toes, to create some space, and then make your way back to down dog if that feels like a good choice for you. Once again, in your down dog, shake your head, yes and no. Try to release. Let's take a breath in and a breath out. Walk the feet towards your hands, and we'll find a halfway lift. Come back down to forward fold. Take a peek around to find whatever you have that resembles a strap. Hopefully you have them. Good, Leah. All right, we'll come up to find another halfway lift. You can grab your strap, kind of bring it along for the ride here. And we'll come back down to forward fold. Good. Inhale, reach and rise, and you can take this as slow as you need. The reason we move slower is just to kind of not stimulate the nervous system here. Good. And bring your hands down to heart. Your straps all pretty rolled up like mine. Unroll it and let the sides dangle down. You could use a belt, you could use a scarf, you could use a bed sheet, beached. Probably a hand towel is going to be a little bit too small. So we're going to take this strap nice and tight and bring it in front, and you'll be able to notice. So my shoulders are really tight once I get to this spot. So I actually need to give myself a little bit more space in the back, but try to keep the strap nice and tight back and then all the way forward. Good. Way forward. And notice as you bring it to the back, I notice this in my own body, kind of thrusting the ribs out. So try to stay nice and strong through the midsection. Good. Let's show you guys. Good. Next time you're upright here, so the strap is overhead, just take some side to side motions, keeping this strap nice and tight. Goodness, this feels so good on the low back. Does it feel good for you guys too? Good. Yeah, inhaling through the center and exhale into the side body. Let's take one more to each side. Good. And we come back up through center. You might kind of adjust your grip if you need. And what we'll do here is take spinal kind of a twist. So just reaching one arm forward, one arm back. And try to notice. So this is actually an exercise my PT gave me. Notice we're really focusing just on the spine. So try to keep your hips pointing forward. So it's really easy to do this, right? To move the whole body. Good. Just try to move through the spine. Just take one more to each side. Good. Come back up through center, and you can just release the strap kind of around your neck, arms down at the sides. Maybe just shake them out a little bit. Maybe shake out the hands from gripping on the strap. And notice what sensation you might have found. Good. Take your hands and ball them up into really, really tight fists here. Really strong, bringing tension in. Good. Let's take a full breath in. As you exhale, release and let go. Good. Shake the hands out just a little bit. I'm going to take one other arm stretch here while we're upright. So take the strap into the right hand. And what we're going to do is take it up overhead and then bend at the right elbow. And you can sort of overlap here. We'll take a tricep stretch here. So take your left hand to your right elbow and just let the strap dangle down your back along the length of the spine. Good. So right hand stays as it is. Left arm comes out and rotate the thumb down. So we're internally rotating the left shoulder joint. Take the top of the left hand to the low back. Oh, I just turned my watch. I just turned the music up on my watch as I did that. Sorry, guys. Left hand to low back. Probably couldn't do that again if I tried. And so left hand meets the bottom of the strap. And it's okay if your hands feel like they're a mile away. I don't think my hands will ever touch, but some people have a lot of shoulder flexibility. So good. Try to stay tall and proud through the chest. So our right shoulder is externally rotated. Our left shoulder is internally rotated. You might sort of feel some sensation or tingling. Take one more breath here. Stay for the exhale. Release the grip with the left hand. Bring it down at the side. Release the strap with the right. Just let the arms dangle. You might even kind of strap around the head so you can just let both hands go. Find your mountain pose. Do you guys feel different sensation in the arms? My arms feel really tingly. It's very interesting. Good. Blood flow getting to new places. And then we'll take this strap in the left hand this time. Start by coming into your triceps stretch. So let the strap dangle down, right hand to your left tricep, nice and tall and proud here. Good. And bend into your knees. Maybe you sway the hips a little bit here. Good. And we'll take the right arm out to the side, rotate the thumb down towards the earth, and then right hand, top of the right hand to the low back, meet the strap. Good. You can sort of creep the hands towards one another. And it doesn't matter if they're further apart or closer on this side. Just breathe into the sensation you feel. Good, nice breath. Another 2 or 3 rounds of breath. One more breath in. As you exhale, let the right arm go and let the left arm go, and you can sort of just toss the strap off to the side. Maybe a few shoulder rolls. Maybe a few little wiggles of the arms. Hopefully you're feeling all more open through the chest. Good. We'll take a sun salutation to make our way back down to the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Oh my gosh, do you guys feel tired in the shoulders? My shoulders feel tired. Goodness, forward fold here, let it go. Let's find a halfway lift. Coming back to your fold here, what we're going to do is bring right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder, and give yourself a little self-massage here. A little rub through the shoulders and the biceps. Good. Release your hands. We'll take chin or hands to shins, halfway lift. And here we'll step it back. Find your flow if you're really feeling like movement coming down to take a cobra, or maybe you come to tabletop or down dog. Again, choice is always yours to make for what feels best in your body in this moment. Beautiful job. Nice choices. Good. Let's take a breath in our down dog together. Big exhale out, let go. Good. Come down to your knees here. And we'll find a few moments in child's pose. So take the big toes towards one another, knees wide. You might scoot your bolster in if you'd like a little bit more support in this child's pose. And we just did a lot of work for the shoulders. So instead of reaching the arms forward, slide the forearms a little bit closer to your body to give your shoulders a little bit of a rest. You might reach for that cotton round, bringing it to the bolster underneath your head in child's pose. Let's take a few breaths here together. Inhaling through the nose and exhale. Breathe in. Nice big breath in. And let it go. If you did bring a bolster in, I'll invite you to just lift up just a little bit. Bring the forehead down to the mat, and we'll take a little bit of a rock of the forehead side to side. We'll walk the hands back up We won't be here all that long. So if you're comfortable sitting on knees, you can stay here. What we're going to do is just take a quick stretch into the neck before we come into my favorite deer pose ever. So what we're going to do is take chin to chest here. You could always sneak a block underneath it or the bolster underneath as well. We'll take chin to chest and then take right ear to right shoulder. And I'll mirror you guys. Right hand will come on top and reach the left arm out. And kind of reach the fingertips kind of down at an angle towards the floor. And you might come chin to chest and right ear to right shoulder, kind of oscillating between those two places to just really get this nice stretch into the neck. Another option for the left arm is to bend at the elbow and take the top of the left arm to the low back, kind of like we had for our shoulder stretch when we were standing. Some folks like to take that reach and some like to take the hand to the low back. Good, we'll bring chin to chest here, both hands to the thighs, and just take a moment. Breathe into the back of the neck here. Stay for the exhale. We'll come off to the other side, left ear to left shoulder. Left hand can gently rest on top. Right arm either can reach out to the side or maybe bend at the elbow. And each side feels very different. So just take time to notice. Perhaps you find some subtle movements. Or maybe you find that sweet spot where you can really breathe into any tension you might have. Good. And we'll come back, release chin to chest. We'll take one more movement here, interlacing your hands and bring them to the back of the head. And we're not pulling down hard on the neck, just a little bit, bringing the hands back. Elbows come in towards one another. We'll move with our breath here. Inhale, opening the elbows, gaze lifts, and exhale, rounding chin to chest, elbows come towards one another. Good. Take this a few rounds with your breath. Inhale, open, and exhale. Good. Last one here. Inhale to open and exhale. Good. We'll bring hands down to thighs and lift off. If you came to a block, maybe just find some movement here, even coming down onto forearms, rounding into the spine, taking whatever movement might feel good for you. We'll kind of take note of where our blanket and bolster are. Come back onto hands and knees. I feel like I've just strewn my stuff everywhere here. So we will come to our deer pose, which is kind of a combination of a twist and hip opener. I like to take the blanket, especially for us on the hardwood, to spread the blanket out to the left side. And then the bolster will come to your right hip joint. And I just like to have my feet on the blanket here. So we're creating right angles, right shin parallel with left thigh, left shin parallel with right thigh. And then bolster straight out from the right hip. Hands will frame the bolster and you twist towards the bolster and then right side body comes onto the bolster. Good. This, I think, feels really, really good. So as you inhale, you'll feel the right side body expanding into the bolster. That little bit of compression into the right side of the abdomen. Good. And just settle in here. So this reading is from the fourth part of her book, titled For the Soul. Amidst all of the pressure to keep going and going and going, may you also take the time to learn the art of being. Being loved, being held, being seen. Being in the presence of the one who calls you to rest. For beyond your accomplishments and your calendars and your lists, you were made with purpose and intention to reflect glorious light and to abide in love that reminds you, even in the pause, you are still where you need to be. In the stillness, in this posture, if your mind wanders to those lists or to your calendars, come back to your breath. Come back to this momentary pause. Over your next few breaths, I will invite you to slowly make your way out of this side. And you can check in how your body might want to move or stretch. Excuse me. And we set up for the other side. So you can just shift the bolster, maybe shift the blanket. However it makes most sense in your space. And we'll take the bolster straight out from the left hip this side, or this time. Creating those bends in the knees, hands frame the bolster here, and bring the left side body down. You might reach for that cotton round again. And just settle in. To continue with readings. Oh, how steady hope makes the soul in the river rush of things you cannot control. For somehow through it all, you have still been made whole. Because as sure as the water makes way past the river stones, so does hope carry you past the depth of unknowns. Under fogged and white gray skies that demand the most of tired eyes, the sound of the rushing river gently speaks. All is passing, truly passing. As you take your inhales and exhales here, you'll feel the expansion into the left side body. More rounds of breath on this side. And if the mind wanders, you are human, bring it back to your body, bring it back to your breath. Slowly over the next few breaths, coming out of this side. Take what movements, counter stretches might feel good in your body. We'll start to make our shift to our backs, and you might choose to take a round of twists here. You might choose to take your legs towards the sky. You might, yes, put sweatshirts back on if you took them off, or socks. So in these final moments before we head to Shavasana, I want you to check in. If there are any final movements, stretches that you might really crave in your practice. Super good choice, Heather. Legs towards the sky. And just kind of taking inventory of where your props are near you. Leah also choosing legs, the sky. Super choices. You take something that requires two sides, shift off to the other side. For the next handful of breaths, I invite you to make any final movements, choices that you might need. For those of you in studio tonight, we do have warm towels. They are the same blend as the little cotton rounds, which is lavender and bergamot. A nice calming scent to end our practice. Are all three of you okay if I bring it to your forehead? Yeah, okay. So for the next few breaths, just start to make your way to whatever Shavasana looks like in your body. Could be blanket again to the midsection or behind the head. Once you arrive in your Shavasana, let's take a nice big deep breath in. Exhale, let go. There's no where else you need to be right here and right here and right now. One final reading from Morgan Harper Nichols' collection, All Along You Are Blooming. Light still fills the sky. And though your heart may get heavy and your eyes have struggled to find the stars above the streetlights, you are free to believe light is still pouring in, above, around, beneath, and within. Light is still pouring in, above, around, beneath, within. Invite you to take a breath in and a breath out. Over your next few breaths, take this slow and gentle, holding on to what I hope is a sense of peace and calm in your body. and your mind. Over your next few breaths, you might invite some gentle movements into the fingers and the toes. Maybe you find a full body stretch. Noticing the space you've created physically, more importantly, emotionally as well. Bend into the knees and roll to one side. Shavasana, the end of our practice, this kind of fetal position, the beginning of our practice as we take it to our Monday evening, to the rest of our week ahead. But when you're ready, make your way up to a tall seat. And we'll bring left hand to heart, right hand resting upon left. Chin to chest, we find gratitude for our health, gratitude for this practice, gratitude for one another. Thank you for showing up. Let's take one final breath to close it out. Inhale through the nose. And a big exhale, let go. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing your energy. As always, the light and the love in me sees and honors the light and the love in you. Namaste.